Hi guys, so today I'm going to be making a requested video for you. Thank you so much to the person who requested this because this is a super good video idea. Also, I'm sorry the lighting is kind of wonky right now because I'm in front of my window but it's thunderstorming out, so I'm also sorry if you hear some thunder, but the lighting's not helping me today. But let's just get into the video. So I had somebody comment on one of my videos about choosing your first saddle and how it can be really difficult sometimes, which I can totally understand if you're getting into the horse world or if you just bought your first horse and you don't have any of your own tack yet. It can be kind of difficult to know what you're looking for. So today I have around 7 tips for you guys on buying your first saddle and what to look for when you're picking out your first saddle. Alright, so tip number 1 is know what you want to do. If you've already been riding for a while, then you probably know what you want to do with your horse. If you're going to do jumping or cross country, or if you're going to do western pleasure. Maybe you just want to be like an all-around rider, trail riding, arena riding, doing fun shows, things like that. Just know like an idea of what you kind of want to do with your horse so you know what type of saddle you want to get. Also, if you don't really know yet what you want to do with your horse, if you're still kind of on the edge, there is no going wrong with getting an all-purpose saddle, or if you ride western, a trail saddle. A trail saddle can pretty much get the job done for anything if you just need to make it work, or just your first saddle that you can keep and use for pretty much anything you want. Trail saddles, even roping saddles are really good for the trails and other things like that. So getting either one of those you really can't go wrong with. Tip number 2 is you don't have to go brand new. I personally never suggest getting a brand new factory made saddle for your very first saddle. Nobody needs a brand new saddle for the first purchase. I personally always like to go used because there are so many people selling used saddles that are still in really good condition and have years worth of use on them still. So I always suggest getting a used saddle for your first one. It doesn't have to be like a junk saddle or anything, but just get one that's been used but is still in good condition, because you never really know, especially if you're starting to ride, if things don't work out, if you want to change your discipline, if you want to do something else and you don't have the right equipment for it. It would suck buying a brand new saddle and then maybe having to sell it later. Also decide whether you want to go leather or synthetic. I'm sorry if you can hear that thunder out, it's about to start pouring. But leather or synthetic is a really good thing to think about. I know most horse people like to go leather because it's better quality, it lasts a lot longer. I personally don't have any problems with synthetic equipment. I have a synthetic saddle and I have a lot of nylon stuff, and personally I train horses, so for me having a synthetic saddle isn't really a big deal. Just having a cheap one to train horses with, and one that I can get wet and one that can get dirty and rolled on and I'm not going to care. I don't really know if I would suggest English synthetic saddles. I haven't really worked a lot with those, but for western I have used synthetic saddles plenty and I think they're just as good as leather. But I'm personally an all-around rider, so I do like trail riding and some fun shows and just basic things. But if you're looking to really compete with your horse, I would go more towards leather and just an overall nicer look and better quality. Alright, so I wanted to mention this page in this video because I have gotten so much tack off this page. If you have a Facebook account, even if you don't use it very much, go on Facebook and join the group Tack Hoarders. I'll try and put like a thing here on how you spell it. But Tack Hoarders has thousands of members in this group, and people are selling new and used items for really good prices on it all the time. And yeah, I would just really suggest joining it if you're looking on getting some tack used. Or I've gotten so much tack off of that page, so go join it and find some really good new items. Okay, and let me just say, you guys, I know I'm preaching about getting used things and stuff, but your stuff does not define your riding ability. Okay, just because you have used things and may not be like brand new and sparkling and silver plated and custom made doesn't make you a bad rider. It doesn't make you poor, like you can't afford the sport. Okay, making use of things that are already used instead of having those things thrown away and getting new stuff. Okay, I highly respect the people that make use of what they have and have used things and make it work and don't need brand new things to be satisfied. So obviously, since I'm preaching that getting used saddles is the best for your first saddle, you want to definitely look at the condition of the saddle. They usually have some wear on them, obviously, if they're used. But just because the saddle has a little wear on it or maybe a stain or two definitely does not mean it's not usable. I'm somebody that likes to use things until they're like completely not usable anymore, so that's just me saying that. But I would definitely look at the condition, look at the underneath of the saddle too, the fleece, because I recently just bought a saddle that looked really good condition on the top, and the seat looked good, the skirt looked good, and when I got the saddle, the bottom of the saddle was terrible. I'll actually put a picture of it right here. So yeah, as you can see, the sheepskin and the fleece is like completely torn off. That saddle I actually took in to a repair shop and they told me they couldn't even repair it because the underneath of the saddle was like crumbling apart because the saddle was so old. And then it had some straps on it that were like so dry and like crumbling apart and ripping and stuff. So if you're gonna use saddle, 100% go look at it. Make the person take a whole bunch of pictures all over the saddle to make sure you see the whole saddle, underneath, on top, under the stirrup fenders, everything, so you can tell the whole quality of the saddle and the whole condition the saddle is in. If at all possible, try to kind of bring the saddle or go to the person that owns the saddle and make sure it fits your horse. Ask for measurements. What's the seat size? What's the gullet size? The pommel, you definitely want to look at the pommel. And this is me talking about Western saddles. The pommel is very, very important, whether it's higher or lower, so it doesn't hit on your horse's withers. Make sure it's going to fit you and your horse properly. Alright, and my last tip, or it's not really a tip I guess, but something you should think about is whether you want to get a name brand saddle or not. Personally, I don't really have a preference. I have a saddle that's not name brand and I've had them in the past, and I haven't really ever had a saddle that's like really cheap and crappy that's not name brand, but I know a lot of people definitely prefer name brand. When you get a name brand saddle, usually they're always a little better quality because somebody, the maker of that saddle, is putting their name on it, putting their pride on it, saying that this company made this saddle and we're proud to put our name on it. Usually no name saddles are just random people making saddles, or small companies that aren't very experienced and don't have, you know, the nicest stuff to make saddles. But I also have had saddles that are in really good condition that aren't name brands. So just look at the saddle, look at the condition. If it's a really good shape and it's in really good condition, then I mean, I don't see any problem with it not being name brand. If it's gonna work for you and you know that it's not gonna like fall apart, then who cares really? Alright guys, so that's all my tips on buying your first saddle. Sorry, I cannot talk. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. Leave any video requests you have in the comments as well, and I will be happy to respond. I don't know what this is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!